Everybody's having fun dunking on the Bill O'Brien hire at Ohio State. And I get it. The man is a lightning rod. He was a lightning rod as the Houston Texans head coach. He was a lightning rod as the Alabama offensive coordinator. And he was certainly a lightning rod this past year as the Patriots offensive coordinator. Perhaps the most fair, but also most mean of this, Will Brinson from CBS. Bill O'Brien spent 8 total years working for either Bill Belichick or Nick Saban and didn't win a Super Bowl or a national championship. That's got to be a club with a membership of 1. That is very mean, but also not entirely fair. The dunking on Bill O'Brien, I get maybe you don't like his personality. Maybe you're not a fan of the man. But if his job is just to run the offense at Ohio State, are we sure that's not a great hire? Because no, the offense at the Patriots this year was not very good. The raw material with the Patriots wasn't very good. Last I checked, Ohio State's raw material considerably better. Have you watched any high school film of Jeremiah Smith, who's coming in to maybe be the next Marvin Harrison Jr.? Have you watched their other receivers, their Carnell Tate? Have you seen him play yet? They've got some dudes. So I don't know that Bill O'Brien getting hired is the end of the world, as you might think reading it on the internet. Well, let's go back to Alabama, because the Alabama fans were fairly critical of Bill O'Brien. I think given what's happened in the last few days, Alabama fans are probably reevaluating their criteria for criticism. But I do remember in 2021 and 2022, especially 2022, there was hefty criticism of Bill O'Brien as the Alabama offensive coordinator. Now, let's look at Bill O'Brien's tenure as the Alabama offensive coordinator. Bryce Young in 2021 won the Heisman Trophy. Really good. They went 13-2. They made the national championship game. They put up a bunch of points on that Georgia defense in the SEC championship game, which was maybe the greatest college defense ever assembled in terms of pure talent. So this is something Ohio State needs, by the way. Someone who can help them win a game when the talent level is equal or the other team has more talent. Because the one thing about the Ryan Day era at Ohio State is that when the talent has been equal or Ohio State has had less talent, they have lost. They've got to figure out how to do that. They've got to figure out how to attack an opponent's weakness and use what they have that the other team doesn't, even if the other team has some stuff that Ohio State doesn't have. And I think when you look at Ohio State's offense this past year, it did not seem to have a lot of bespoke game plans. Like, it didn't seem to matter who they were playing. It just looked the way it looked. I think that's going to be different with a guy coming from the NFL and a guy who coached at a really high level in the SEC as well. So what does that mean for Ohio State? What are they getting out of this? One thing I think that they needed that maybe Ryan Day didn't realize he needed until he'd lost it is that veteran voice, that dissenting voice, that person who's willing to say, look, I don't think you have the right idea here. And Bill O'Brien will not be afraid to give his opinion in that room. The guy who was that person before was Kevin Wilson. Kevin Wilson was an assistant at Ohio State throughout the entirety of the Ryan Day era until he got the Tulsa head coaching job before last season. Kevin Wilson was their tight ends coach, co-offensive coordinator. This is a guy who'd been a college head coach at Indiana. He'd been a very accomplished offensive coordinator in college. He ran one of the best college offenses ever at Oklahoma. He also basically helped design what we know as the college spread offense with Randy Walker at Northwestern at the turn of the century. So imagine having that as a resource and a sounding board and then losing it. Well, that's what happened to Ryan Day. So now he gets a guy who's been an NFL head coach, who's been a college head coach at Penn State. He gets that level of experience. He gets somebody who can say, no, I think we might be able to do it better this way. And you're going to respect that voice. You're going to listen to it. Again, you're not hiring Bill O'Brien to run the program. If you have any issues with Bill O'Brien's personality as a CEO or Bill O'Brien, the GM from when he was with the Texans, that doesn't matter. That's pretty irrelevant in this particular situation. What matters is, can Bill O'Brien make that offense better? Can he help Will Howard, who Ohio State is getting from Kansas State, become the best version of Will Howard he can be and prepare him for the NFL and raise them a level from the offense that you saw this year. Because, listen, this was not what you expect from an Ohio State offense this past year. And Kyle McCord made one of the all-time huge mistakes going in and saying, hey, you need to guarantee I'm going to be the starter. Because they weren't that good this year. They can be significantly better. Can Bill O'Brien make them significantly better? I think he can. He's done it before. You may not like the guy, but if his job is to run Ohio State's offense, my guess is he's going to make it better. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.